All right, so Greg, I'm going to unmute you here, Greg. You're unmuted.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How you going?
Good. Hey, two questions. The first one I'll ask first, just because it sounds like I'm the only one in line. I've had my Facebook ads running for 2 weeks, spent about, I think, $3,000 or so. Had 7 strategy calls booked, 3 show up. 2 of them were disqualified. The KPIs are such where like my cost for my cost per lead is not too far out of whack. My cost per click is, but my relevance score is pretty damn low on all of them. Question is I know we don't really care as much about CPC, but which variable, which metric should I pay most attention to? For instance, if I have like a $9 CPC, but I have a cost per lead that's in KPI, is that okay?
Yeah, the only thing that really matters is cost per acquisition. And then the next one, you start from the end and then you work backwards. The end's the most important thing, but if we don't have data on that, then we have to go to the next closest thing to the end. So if you don't have a customer, then
more important.
No, that's ages away from the end. Like the end would be cost per acquisition. Have you had a customer from this campaign yet?
I haven't closed any, no.
Okay, have you had strategy sessions?
Yes.
All right, so then we want to look at cost per strategy session. What's that?
Yeah. It's not too far outside of KPI. I don't have it in front of me, but it's actually pretty close.
Okay, and
actually,
then
it's within KPI. It's $76, and then it was like $120.
Cool. And then how many of the strategy sessions have you done?
There was 3.
Yeah, so nothing. I'd keep it as is. You're getting strategy sessions at the right price. I mean, let's say let's assume you close at 20%. You've had 3, but you didn't close any. So in the next 2, one might not close, one might close. Then, everything will work provided you're in KPI there. But there's no need to freak out and look at the numbers. We just start at the end and work backwards.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I think I've heard a lot of other people say the same thing, but I got the strategy sessions booked in the first 4 or 5 days, and it's been pretty quiet ever since. So I've iterated the ad set and added some new ads to it and launched them and that type of thing, per the course instruction. But is there anything abnormal about having the traffic to your ads kind of fall off after a few days?
Well, it totally depends what's going on. So I mean, how long have you been advertising consistently for a certain amount of time?
Yeah, for 2.5 weeks consistently.
All right, and so you said you got all the strategy sessions in the first few days and nothing since.
Yeah, in the first week, we'll say I got all the strategy sessions and nothing in the second week.
Do you have that spreadsheet that we use to track everything?
I do. I'm pulling it up right now, actually.
Do you use, if you just take a screenshot of it, and then just post it in the Accelerator Facebook group, and I can look at that and see what's going on.
Do you want to see the month performance, month 1? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
Let me know when it's in the group and I'll look.
Okay, I'm posting it right now. Done.
Cool. You post it in up level?
Yeah.
You sure?
Oh, call, Sam. No, I did.
Cool. Oh yeah, I mean the specific tab, like month one, so I can see every day that's making up these
Yep.
numbers.
Okay. Doing that right now. Here we go. All right. There it is.
All right. So I'm just looking at this. Your cost per strategy session. I mean, you've spent, if you scroll down to total spend, what is total spend? You don't need to screenshot it. Just tell me what total spend is so far.
Here it's 26.25, but that doesn't include my retargeting. My total spend's right on 3,000.
3,000, and then you've had a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strategy sessions, or 5 surveys.
I've received 3 surveys and 8 opt-ins for a meeting, but they didn't fill out the survey, so I didn't give them the meeting strategy session.
So how many surveys? Just 5?
3.
So 1, 2,
I'm sorry.
3.
I'm sorry. You're saying 5. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. 5. My bad.
Okay. So, I mean, you're paying $600 per strategy session, not 75.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened on the sheet here. I probably screwed up part of the formula, but you're right.
Yeah, so that's you don't have any sales, so we can't use that. That's where we would start. But if we don't have that, so we come back here to how many calls you had. You haven't done that many calls, so we don't assume there's an issue with the sales process because you haven't done enough for us to know. So we work backwards, and then we look at your cost per strategy session or cost per survey, which is very high, 600. So that's too high. You won't be able to make things work with a cost per strategy session that high.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to look at the video conversion rate. So how many leads have you had in total? What does it say at the bottom of that column?
It's over 100. Let me just look here. What is it? Lead.
Just leads here. It should have a total at the bottom of this column.
Oh, 102.
And you've had 5 out of 102. So that's kind of normal. I mean, yeah, that's like, 5% or just done. Yeah, 5%. So it's in between 5 and 10. That's kind of normal. So then let's go backwards, and we're going to go to landing page conversion. So how many clicks does it say at the bottom of that column there?
You're talking about LPC
Clicks.
is 31%.
No.
Is that what you mean?
Clicks. How many clicks have you had?
414.
Yeah, so that's 25%. So that's good. Landing page conversion is good. So then we have to come back to CPC. And this is where it's all starting to get high.
Yeah.
All right, so you see this process I'm doing to work backwards here?
Yeah.
And each time I check, like, oh, the system's in check here, let's keep going back, keep going back, keep going back. And now we're at CPC. And CPC looks pretty high because you've spent $3,000 and you've had 414 clicks. So let's calculate that. You're paying $7.20 per click.
Okay.
Which is very high. Very high. So, and then if we look back at your CTRs,
0.01.
Yeah. I mean, the ads don't really have enough bite, and that's causing the CTR to be down, but that's also making the CPM very high. So they're not striking a nerve, you know what I mean? Because your funnel looks like it's actually it's functioning. Like you're getting, like you've had 3 calls, that's good news. Your video conversion rate's at like 5%, your landing page conversion's at 25. All these numbers are fine. And then we just run into trouble with our CPC. It's too high because the CTR is too low, which means the ad doesn't strike a nerve. So I would go back to testing different angles, different images, different audiences, and keep your spend low until you find something that's really going to strike a nerve.
Should I shut off everything that I've done that you see in the sheet here? I launched a new ad today, a new angle of new images. Should I shut off all the ads except for that one? Or is there anything on here that looks like it's performing enough?
Well, the ad sets you've got, you should be able to see how much they're producing leads for, right? Like cost per lead.
Yeah.
And really you want to be shutting off anything that's producing less than you want to shut off every ad set that's producing leads outside of like $14.
Okay.
And you also want to, because how much is your cost per lead right here? If you've got 102, so you got
37.96.
Yeah. So that's too high. It needs to be like at max, like it needs to be like $14. So you need to go through all your ad sets over the past time horizon, kill all of the ones that are outside of that. The only exception would be one that has a high cost per lead above 14, but it has a strategy session at a good price.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the only exceptions. But,
even if it's just one strategy session?
Yeah, or unless it's just one strategy session and the leads look horrific. But, sometimes we find an ad set that produces expensive cost per lead, but very high, but like it's very good for customer acquisition. So very low cost per acquisition. It's kind of rare, but I mean, we always use that rule. Like I always say, I'll pay $1,000 a click, $1,000 a lead, provided all of 100% of them buy. So the buying is the most important thing, and then we reverse engineer from that. But to make most of your decisions, you're going to be using the cost per lead figure. Now, if there aren't any ad sets with a cost per lead less than $14, then you need to just shut everything off.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a few of them that are below that KPI, so we should be good to keep those on. I just don't want to keep, burning money on bad ads if the angles are what the problem is. And you mentioned keep the cost low, test at a low cost. What is that? Because right now I'm testing it $10 to $13 a day per ad.
Well, I mean, after 4 days, you should have cut all the ones that were over 14 anyway.
Yeah, I did. That's why you see the drop off on the numbers there.
Got it. But we still see cost per lead high.
Yeah.
Which although it gets cheaper in the back end here.
Yeah, I cut a few out and it really helped. You know, I was waiting for the relevance score to show up on a few of them, and you know, I had mainly like 4s and 3s. I had a couple of 7s and 8s, and I cut everything that was below 7 recently, like yesterday.
Got it.
But when you say, you know, like I launched a new ad angle today, when you say keep costs low, I mean, are you suggesting I go below the $10 a day, or is that still the lowest I should go?
I mean, you just need to keep it as low as you can. So like total daily spend, you want to try and keep that, you know, at $100 or less. It means you're just going to have to test less things at one time.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything on there, anything else on the spreadsheet that you're looking at that stands out to you as a call out?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Second question, and I'll be quick. And I kind of already know the answer to this, but there's been an opportunity I call it a potential opportunity that's fallen on my lap. I'm very careful about, you know, obviously not falling susceptible to the pendulum of doubt and switching or altering anything that I'm doing until there's sufficient data. I want to be very cognizant of that. But part of what I'm doing is my niche, I should say, is B2B founders, helping them get to market with organic outreach, you know, and get enterprise deals, which is not something that typically can do with digital marketing. And I've been doing this done for you for 10 years, and the whole approach here is to automate it and create a done with you type thing. So that's what I'm doing here. A big part of the challenge, obviously, is like, okay, well, I have to teach other people now to do what I am able to do, and really defining what it is that I'm doing that's producing results, because the approach that I have does produce significant results, and it has for multiple companies. And you know, a big part of it has to do with my writing skills, and I'm fascinated with neuroscience, and I really don't know how to articulate exactly, you know, in course format what you know, where neuroscience and writing kind of meet from an NLP perspective or from an actionable writing perspective. But I've certainly read enough about it to be able to incorporate it in what I do. I have a friend who's a neuroscientist, a well-known one, that I think I can probably get to partner with me on this program in a way that would, you know, make sense for him as well. But you know, it reminds me of somebody being a little bit too quick to jump, you know, because I don't have any clients with this version of the product yet, because I haven't sold this version of the product. I haven't sold the course. I haven't even built the course yet. But I think there is an opportunity to do that right now. Candidly, what are your thoughts about my doing that at this point? Because it is a deviation from my original plan was.
Well, I mean, you said when you asked me the question, you said you think you already know the answer. What do you think the answer is?
Well, I think it's always a dumb idea to get distracted, and you know, but the reality of it is that this would make the same niche and the same product a lot more attractive to the market. And it's like, you know, I'm trying to keep blinders on, but there is an opportunity right now for me to do this.
Well, is it better than what you're currently doing?
Yes.
And why is
from
that?
My perspective, that's a great question. Why is that? From my perspective right now, it is, and that's kind of why I'm asking you, because I'm aware of the fact that I might feel that way because I'm waiting for my first client.
Well, why do you think it's better?
Because it adds a lot of credibility around the neuroscience aspect, and potentially a lot more content that I don't already have around the incorporation of neuroscience from an authority in the industry into copywriting and marketing copy. This individual is a very well-known neuroscience in this field of corporate copywriting and things like that. So it would just be a for the same reason you went and did a deal with Ty Lopez, the same kind of thing. It would be a credibility kick. It would be a new audience. It would also add content that is above what I'm able to provide in my program.
Yeah, that wasn't why I partnered with Ty. I partnered with Ty because he could bring a lot of volume to a funnel that already converted.
Yeah.
So what it's like if you go to Ty now, or if you go to this guy now, like it doesn't fix your problem.
Okay.
Because we need, even if they were able to send a lot of volume, we don't have something that converts. And we don't have.
I guess what I'm wondering is if that would help things convert more. Like if you're a B2B founder and you've got somebody saying, hey, I have this proven process to help you get into large companies in front of decision makers without hiring salespeople, that's going to interest you. But it might really interest you if there's also a neuroscientist behind it that is providing, the education behind effective copywriting. That was the idea. And that could be something that I do now or something I do later. And that's kind of what I'm struggling with.
To be honest, I don't think it adds much extra punch to the message at all. Because you've got to remember, in the customer's mind, all they're thinking about is current situation, desired situation. The fact that there's some scientist or a doctor strapped on it never really makes any difference.
It's interesting.
I mean, these things look so much more tempting because you're in pain now.
Yeah.
So anything that's different than what you're doing now looks great because it'll take you away from the pain.
Yeah. Yeah, I went back to
the pendulum of doubt. It's not a solution.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So I should just stick it out and focus on new ad angles and really kind of flush that out and get the KPIs right and just.
Well, have you sold this via organic yet?
I've tried to, and it hasn't gotten the kind of responses that when I sell it as a done for you gets. The truth is, and I'm saying this because I've done this, like tomorrow morning I can pick up the phone and get 2 clients as done for you for this. Seriously. And I've done that when I needed to do that. But when it comes down to the program, I'm dealing with founders that are very busy and they're like, I'm looking for done for you. I don't have time to do a 6-week program. And, that's not data. That's just what I've heard so far. And there's not enough of that for me to make a decision based on that response. But that potentially could be why I've sent out 100 cold emails, which is something I'm usually pretty good at, and I've gotten 1 response. Organic.
That's your problem right there. We found it.
What is
well,
it?
because you jumped from, you said organic works when you're selling done for you, but when you want to sell a program over organic, founders aren't interested because they're busy and they don't have time for doing a program and learning themselves because they want it all done for them. And then how did that make you think that maybe Facebook would change that opinion?
You got me on that one. It didn't. I just wanted to give Facebook a try because maybe I thought it would just be an easier way to attract, customers that would be founders that maybe have seed capital, and they're an engineer or something like that, or a techie, and they don't know how to sell. It's
the same escape mechanism that you were thinking with the scientist. That's the same thing going on there. So we got to go back, like forget Facebook, we got to go back to the root cause, which is back to trying to sell this thing organically and clearing this belief that founders don't buy because they're too busy and they only, want done for you.
Okay.
Because typically, something will work on Facebook if it works organically, right? Something will scale if it worked at a small scale. I just always look at the derivatives of things, and that's how I can trace it. Because that's how you diagnose anything, you just trace it. And so if you're on Facebook, you should have made it work organically. So I'm going to go back to organic, but you didn't do that. So then I look at why, and then we came to that core belief there. That's the thing that's causing the trouble.
Yeah.
And it's totally
the whole idea really was, I've been doing this organically, done for you for long enough, and I have enough case studies behind me. Let's scale this, and the only way to do that is to get rid of the done for you part, right? But what you're suggesting is that I go back and really focus on the organic and get the first set of clients that way. And
because that'll force you to iterate your message there over the phone and via email and Facebook messages and things like that. You'll iterate your message there, and you'll be able to get your first, 1 to 2 clients that way. At that point, we know we have something that's going to work on Facebook.
Okay. So
but that's probably why because we need to know that what we have works, because otherwise it's not going to work. You know what I mean? And we know if it's worked if you've sold a client organically, but you haven't done that. So I wouldn't risk my money on it. So I would turn it off, and I would just go use organic methods and try and sell this thing to these people, and don't waver until you sell.
Okay, and if I sell one, do I turn the Facebook back on, or is that not enough?
I would just, if you sell one, I'd try and do another one immediately. May as well do like 2 or 3 and then jump back onto Facebook.
Got it.
But you never want to use a new task or a new undertaking or a new project as an escape mechanism from fixing a root cause. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just writing that down. That's actually really good advice. Okay. Well, that makes sense, Sam. I'm gonna do exactly that. Good
Cool.
stuff. Thanks, man.
No problem.